I am the owner and creator of everything you find at CarolJo's.com. It is an online jewelry and accessory business for women, but we do more than just sell the jewelry that I create. This community is about having time that we chat with each other about making jewelry, running our small businesses, or anything to help uplift each other. We have times where we sell on TikTok only the components to make the jewelry. Hi, Ashley. And we also have tutorials, and today is a tutorial day. So I am just getting my backup account up on TikTok so that I can see comments when I go down. I do not have a backup account of YouTube. Sorry, everybody. But let me get that back up, and then I'm going to show you what we're making today. I think they're kind of cool, but you might not. But let's see what you guys think. I'm going to show them here now. We're going to make what I call Fringe of Elegance. I'm going to bring them close here on YouTube or TikTok first. So they are a chandelier component with like a fringe-like bead links. So this is what we are going to be making today. Thanks, Cherie. I'm glad you love them. And we are going to make these earrings. We're not going to make them in the same color, but we're going to make something similar in a different size bead so that you can see what the difference is between using different beads. I thought I was going to do boho when I was like thinking of the colors for today. And then I found this one strand of beads and I'm like, nope, I'm changing my mind. We're using these. So it's going to give it the elegant look still. We are going to use a strand where you get multiple different colors of a purple shade. So we're going to make the pair today in shades of purple. So you'll need some beads. You will need head pins. I do use head pins, even though there's on some of those you have the circles on both sides. I just, to keep everything consistent, use head pins and create loops on both ends. You can use eye pins if you like. I just cannot keep my eye pins, the circle of the loop of the eye pin, the same on both sides. So that's just me. You will also need the chandelier piece, and this is what I have up for option. So I'm going to use the same one again. We're going to need 2 of those, and you will need 2 of the earring wire that you want to use. I'm just going to use the fish hook ones again. If you want to use lever back, you sure can. I just don't have any lever back in stock right now, so we're going to use the fish hook. Then for tools, you need flush cutters, flat nose or chain nose pliers, and a round nose plier. And then I also use a Sharpie, and I'll show you how I use my Sharpie in just a second. So those are all the supplies that you need. I am now, oh, I forgot to say something. If we can share 10 times, and if we can like 10,000 times on TikTok, we will do giveaways and it'll push it out to the For You also. I forgot that part again. Holy buckets. And if you're new to me and you are on TikTok, go ahead and follow me. If you are new to me on YouTube and you guys are liking what you're seeing, go ahead and subscribe to me here on YouTube. I do all my chats and all of my tutorials on YouTube. I also do sales on TikTok. So LGK, the age, random question, what is your secret to continue doing the work even if the results aren't there? It will hit someday is what I will always say. I listen to what you guys are saying when you say it and pivot when needed. My backstory, if you know, is that I'm going to put you down while I'm talking here. My backstory is that I make jewelry, but when I came onto TikTok, I started showing everybody how to make the jewelry so that they knew it was handmade. And ultimately, in the end, people asked if I would sell some of my beads, and I ended up selling beads more than I do my jewelry now. And I'm okay with that. So there we go. Hi, Candy. All right. We are going to open up this strand of beads. I'm going to see how many beads I have in there. Sometimes at the end of the strand, it is just wrapped around a bead. Sometimes it's tied. This one is just wrapped. If it is tied, I say use your flush cutters and cut that piece next to the bead so that you can get it off really easy. So, but this one I don't have to do that with. I'm just going to take all those off. We have this color. We have this color. We have this one. This one is different. Yeah, yep, that one is different. We have 4 so far. I'm hoping I have 5. I could have divided these all out before the live, but I literally just found this one and I'm like, hold it, this is the one I want. There we go. Okay, we have 4. And the reason why I was hoping we'd have 5 is because here on this long one here, there are 5 beads. So we just need to repeat one on that one strand. So what we could do is this. This could be our 3. I'm going to put that one over there, and then I have it over here. I'm just laying this out so I can figure out what I'm doing. These are 6x4mm faceted rondelles. I want to use the same bead across each one of these. So there, there. Now I need to come down, and I might just end up doing let me double check. Was that? Then we had 4. Okay. And now we need the 5. Hold on. I don't really, there we go. I am going to use all 4. And you just lay them out how you like it, in all honesty. You have a great day too. This is just one earring. These beads are all for just one earring that I'm laying out. I'm looking at the comments here because, hi, Lori. I just seeing this. So yep, this is one side. And what I wanted to do on this one, if you notice on this one, I'm going to hold this one up close. I started out here with every other color. There's only 2 colors. So there's the blue here and the pink. So over here on YouTube, we have blue and pink, and then blue, pink, blue. But for this other one, I wanted to try where the same color was across the row the same. So I know it sounds really odd, but I wanted to try that. And I just got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So these are going to be extras. And then this one I need 5 of. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then those are extra. I'm going to put them in containers so I don't lose that I got them separated. Because I like them separated rather than together when I put them away. There. And then this one I need 5 of. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this last one I need 1 more of this one. I need 6, and I only have 5. There we go. And then I need 3 of that one. All right, I have my beads for the second earring already. I just got to find one last container. Here we go. Sorry. I don't normally put my beads away in the middle, but there are so many of them, it will mess me up. All right, here we go. Now, how I make these, just setting those, is that I do one row at a time. It is totally up to you how you define that, but I start at my bottom and work my way up. I have found by doing that, I don't have to grab as many different tools or think things through as much as I need to if I just start at the bottom and work my way up and then attach it. Then I'll go to the second row, work my way up, attach it. Third row, work my way up, attach. But if something works better for you, then go for it. To make sure my loops are all consistently the same circle loop, I use a Sharpie to mark on here where I'm going to do my loop at. So here you're going to see I have a black line for my loop. I also, because we're making the loops on both sides, I don't want to always go to the second one because it will create extra space because of how far back I am from my loop. Just for ease, I'm going to create a second line on here today. I thought about this as I was creating the examples. And the second line is down lower. It's right here. That's where we're going to put and do our fold over. Yes, these are head pins. I use head pins for this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one bead on a head pin. Bottom one, I need the head pin part to keep the bead on, but then I am going to use that first, the smaller one, to create the length that I want to wrap around, and then move it at an angle inside of that second line and move this around towards me. When you get to the point where your bead is your head pin is going to touch the bead, reposition your pliers on the top to finish out that loop so that you have a loop like this. This one you can just go ahead and finish off. You're going to grab your flat nose pliers, wrap that around barber pole style. You should go around about one time. Oh yeah, there's a reason why I'm using long ones here, Cherie, and I will show you. Because here on this bottom part, you're like, you don't need that long of a head pin. I agree, because you're just creating the dangle. But when you get to the second one, put your bead on that head pin. Do not create your loop right down here. We're going to create a loop on both ends. So where we have that little line or the smaller part down here at this end, create that by going 90 degrees away, move it to the second line, 45 degrees in that angle, bring it around, reposition, and finish out your loop. Open it up, add it to this dangle, close it up, wrap this around, and then cut it off. There we go. Now you have your dangle connected to your second link. We are going to, once again, on that first line on our pliers, create it 90 degrees away, put it in 45 degrees inside the second line. See how we have it on that second line? And then bring it around towards us, reposition, finish up that loop, hold it with your pliers, and wrap it around one time. Cut that one off. He is, if you look at him, he is a little bit of a bend to him. I don't like them when they bend a little bit. It's just a little bit, but I just want to correct it. There we go. I'm going to add the third one, and then I'm going to take a minute to explain some things before we put this one on there. So once again, first line, 90 degrees away from you, not all the way to the bottom because we got to create another loop. Move it 45 degrees inside that angle on that second loop. There we go. He's wanting to move around on me. Bring him around over the top till he almost touches, reposition, finish up the loop. Open that one up, add it to your dangles, close it up. Do this one around. Just the one time, and then cut it off. All right. You do have to cut off your head pin end on this one because it doesn't fit through the loop of the chandelier. We are going to, on the first line, 90 degrees away, put that 45 degrees in that 90-degree angle and bring it around towards you. Reposition so that it looks like this. I'm going to pause for a minute and explain some things. The reason why we are having a smaller part here for us to bend that 90 degrees at the very beginning is because that length that we are using is what is creating the link between the circle and the bead. If you would use back here, the one that I'm using for how big my circle is, you would have 2 wraps around at that point, and you're going to see more of the silver than you want. If you don't like where I have this positioned at, where we have that size of a loop, you could actually go down and just use this one to create the length and the loop. It's just if you're beginning to do the dangles, being down here is harder for you to control than being here. So that's why if this is one of your first projects, creating the dangles, I would say create a larger loop, learn that style, and then go smaller if you want. I hope that makes sense and why explaining that why this time we have 2 on there. We're going to open up this one here and we're going to add it to our chandelier. So now our chandelier is going to be in that loop and it's going to dangle down. We are going to close this up and we are going to wrap that around one time. And we are going to cut that off. So ultimately, we do not waste a lot of the head pin, but because we're creating the 2 loops, that is why I went with larger head pins. So there is one of the dangles with 3 beads. Trying to get it to focus. There we go. We're going to, on the second one in, because we have 5 holes on our chandelier. That's why we're going to create 5 fringes to create that fringe dangle look. We're going to put 4 on the second one. We're just going to add 1 bead to create that dangle. So we're going to start with our second one. We're going to start with the bottom bead, put it on, find our line to create that 90-degree angle, move down there to the second line, put it in as a 45-degree angle, bring it around, create that circle. Some people, I always, because I had this tool in my hand, the round nose, I used my round nose to hold my circle. Some people cannot do that and they need 2 of the flat nose pliers. If that works for you, do what works for you. And then cut that one off. I'm going to set him down. I'm going to grab another head pin. We're just going to keep repeating this process. 90 degrees. And the reason why you reposition in here is so that you get a great circle. So here we have a circle. I'm going to show you in one, not this one. I will show you on a different one here in just a minute. If you don't put that and reposition your tool, that 45 degrees, what it looks like. All right, we're going to go around, cut off that little excess there. And then here, we're going to go down here. And when we do it on the bead, I have my pliers sitting right at the top of that bead. Push it 90 degrees, reposition. There we go. And go around. There we go. Hold it and then wrap it and cut it off. There we go. Now I'm going to show you on a head pin what it looks like if you don't reposition it. So I'm going to bend it. I'm just going to go straight over, bring that around, reposition. And do you see how your head pin looks a little loppy because it went straight up here? It's just not as nice of a circle as this. I'm going to show you side by side if I can get them to do that. Do you see how one's more straight up than a complete circle? That is what that 90 or that 45 degree turn in there is about. Okay, thank you. I've always explained it, but I don't think I've ever really shown you guys why it makes a difference. It's not a huge difference, but it really does make it look more professional. All right. My line for where I want to bend at is starting to come off. So yes, you do have to sometimes remark your Sharpie marks as you're doing this project. First line, 90 degrees. Second line, 45 in there and bring it around. Reposition, finish the circle. Open that circle by just lifting up that short piece and putting it on your link. There we go. Once again, we're going to do our pliers, our round nose pliers right on top of our bead for 90 degrees away. Do 45 in there and bring it around all the way. You can leave this one closed. Grab your pliers and wrap it around like barber pole style. And when you're just doing one around, it really doesn't, the barber pole doesn't get seen as much as like if you went around twice. Get in there and cut. Well, he's being a pain in the rear. He does not want to cut all of a sudden. Let's see if I have a nick. No, I don't. That was weird. Okay, we got it to cut though finally. Last bead of this 4-length chain. And that's what we're doing here is we're creating a chain of beads. That is what we're doing. Open that up, put that on that one. Close this up. Wrap this around. Cut this off. Push our bead down. Cut off the top of this one because he is not going to go through that hole of our chandelier with that head pin top on. Go ahead and 90 degrees, reposition it around. There we go. Open up that loop and put it on the chandelier. And then cut it off. Hi, Becky. Yep, I sure will. Becky is asking me to show that 45 degree a little closer to the camera. All right, we're going to start our third chain here. This one is going to have 5 beads on it. So we're going to have one more bead. We're going to take our bottom one and leave the head pin part of it. So we're going to do 90 degrees. Okay, I'm going to bring it to TikTok here close. You're going to move down to the second line and turn that 45 degrees in there. I'm going to see if I can get that to focus. Do you see how that is like, well, it's not quite 45. You have to understand, I'm trying to get used to these glasses, and that one is like not in my glasses range. There. Yep, so it's like that. Does that help you out? Nope, you didn't miss a lot. We'll show you the same techniques that we're going to do over and over, okay? And then bring this around, and then you see how your bead gets in the way of us finishing this up? You flip that around to the top, so that bottom one is now on the top. It gives you the room to go in there and do that. Okay. So then you will grab on the there and just wrap that around. Okay, glad that helped. He is not straight. Let's just straighten him up a little bit. There we go. So once again, we're going to put a bead on that first line, do 90 degrees. Second line, position at 45 in there and bring it around. Someone was filtered on TikTok. Open up the loop and put that on. Wrap that around. Cut off this end. So if someone wants to repeat what they were trying to say, if they don't see their comment, 90 degrees, 45 in there, wrap it around, reposition, finish that up, leave that one closed, and then just wrap it around. The head pins that I am using are 6.5 centimeters, so 65 meters. I had to read what my thing says. You're welcome. So when I go to do the kits, I will have these size of head pins in the kits for you guys. We're just going to keep repeating our process. We're putting the third bead on for that link. Really what we're creating is 3, 4, and 5 bead links, because you're linking the beads together with that, and that's all we're doing here. It is a lot of repetition with these earrings. Sorry, Ryan is texting me. All right, took care of getting back to him. All right, now we're doing the fourth link, and you can pick and choose however. I'm going to put my lines back on there. They're coming off again. I'm using an ultra fine Sharpie, and ultra fines don't mark as well. I'm going to go get my other Sharpie here. That's a thicker one. That's just a fine. Yeah, this is a fine point. He'll put a bigger line on there and it'll, voila. Oh, you're okay, Deborah. It'll stay on a little bit because it's a little thicker point. All right. First line, 90 degrees. Second line, put that one in there, 45 degrees. Yep, you got it there. Craft 167. Put that on there. Open up that link and put it on there. I'll explain that here on the next one here. Again. You're really creating a 90-degree angle, or like you say, 45. Yep, you twist the tool 45 degrees in there. So what you do is right here on this first line, I'm going to show them over here on TikTok, YouTube. We go 90 degrees away from us. Or as Craft 167, we created an L. So there is what we did. We just made that there. And remember I said our space? This is the space right here that we are wanting to do the wrap on. And how big or how large or small we make it depends on how many times we wrap around. Now that 45, we move our tool so that it is not, like this would be equal to the 90-degree angle. Do you see where it's like keeping it right there and keeping that L? I don't want to do that. How I do it is I open it up a little bit and I move this so that it's on the top about halfway between there. And that creates the 45 degrees. And then that I can bring over the top. Then I bring the bottom one to the top so I can finish my circle. You're moving the tool so that it sits 45 degrees in there. And then you just wrap this around once, and we're going to cut off this piece. I love your guys' comments. I never thought to just slow down and explain this. So just to let you guys know, I am having someone that has worked with me. It's one of my kids. Like you guys have seen Val popping in. Val is working by hearing what I say to you guys and helping me give feedback so that I can slow down and explain things better to you. And so that's one of the things that, you know, ask the questions if you're not getting it. Go, I don't get that. Or just say, hey, can you say it a different way? It may take me a moment to think it through, but we got to do that because we all do not learn the same way. All right, so once again, for this is going to be our last one. This is the 5th one. We're going, I'm not perfect. That's what I'm going to say. We're going to go 90 degrees on that first line. Reposition our tool so it is 45 degrees in there. And it's the tool that's moving. Bring it around the top. Hi, Danielle. Till you can't move it anymore. Open this up. If you notice, I just opened this up and swiveled my wrist. And what I meant by open it up is that normally you're down here and you see how it's all closed? Open it up, swivel up, close. I'll show you here. So we're like this, open it up and close. And then just pull that around so that you get your circle. I was way up in the air there on TikTok, sorry. Open up that hole or that circle and put that on there. That makes the 5th link for this chain. We do have to cut the head pin off of the flat part of the head pin off of the last one because it's not, the holes here on our chandelier earrings are not big enough for that flat head part of the head pin. Okay, we're gonna do 90 degrees on the first one, move over to the second line with 45, bring it around, over, there you go. And then open that up and we're gonna put it on. And then close that up and bring this around. Cut this off. And so we now have 3 parts of our link in there. Now, do you see how with the colors being straight across from each other, it looks differently than this one where we have it as every other color? That's what I wanted to show really today, is how you can position the beads differently. You can do it either way. It doesn't matter. I think these are kind of cool too. When I saw these beads, when I was looking for some, I was like, oh, I'm going with these. We're going to do a 4-link, which means 4 beads linked together for the 4th one here. The bottom one, you go all the way down to the head pin, 90 degrees away on the first line, reposition to the second line and bring it around. Move that bottom part to the top so you can complete your circle, and then complete this. Now, you could use a different head pin on this bottom one that was smaller so you didn't waste as much wire, but I don't always have the same gauge of head pins in all the different sizes. So for me, I'm personally okay using a longer one because then I know I have consistency in the gauge of my wire that I'm making it. So right now we're going to that first line, 90 degrees away. Second line, position it 45 degree your tool in there. Bring it around, open it, round it, and finish out your circle. We're going to add it to this. Close up that circle. There we go. And then create this. He is being a slippery little sucker. There we go. And then cut this off. There we go. We got in there and got it. Whew. Once again, this is the second bead of our link, 90 degrees away. Second line, reposition 45, come around till you can't do it anymore. Move the bottom part of the tool to the top. Take that off. Use your tool to hold it or your flat nose, whichever is more convenient and easier for you. And then cut that off. I will tell you, a lot of people do not use their round nose pliers to do that. I just started doing it so that I didn't have to pick up an extra tool. Here, I'm going to show you something. Do you see how I've got a little bit of extra wire here that I shouldn't have? Just go in and cut that off. There we go. I don't want that extra wire because that creates pokies. There we go. And I just flung that little piece somewhere. Do you see how I don't have that extra wire there now? That's what you want. All right. We're going with bead number 3 on this one. Whoop. If you guys just noticed what I did, I'm going to cut this one off because he's too bent for me to want to straighten. And then I threw away my bead. I had to get my bead back. I went all the way to the bottom, which I don't want to do because he's going to be in the middle of it. So we'll do that every once in a while too. It was actually one of a chain of, or a strand of beads came with all of these different colors on it. It has 4 colors. So I thought, hey, this will work. So this is where you could purchase 1 strand of beads and make a pair of earrings out of it. That are really cool earrings, I think. There we go. And then we'll wrap that around. And then our last one for this link, so we're in a 90 degrees, second one, reposition, go around, open it up, put it in there. Whoop, I lost it. There we go. There we are. I need to cut off the head pin, top, that flat part, and now we will continue our last loop for the 4th chain and put it on our chandelier earring. There we go. Get that to shut. There we go. He's being a little bit stubborn here. He doesn't want to stay where he needs to be. There. For me to shut. There we go. All right, I got it now. Just took a little bit of finagling sometimes. What do you mean upside down? Right now, I'm doing it like I'm sitting across from you and not like you looking down like you would actually do it. Does that make sense of how I am showing you? Not yet, Rose. That starts, we have, tonight is like fan appreciation night for the regular season for their team. We have a regular season game on Sunday. Next week starts regional playoffs. Because there's a lot of wire space from the top, from the bead to the loop. And then I flip it. Okay, I'm going to explain that here then. Okay, I get what you're saying. So, we're going to do the first line. Nope. First one, you're going 90 degrees. Reposition in here, 45 degrees in that second line. Bring that around. Hi, Stacy Ann. Reposition. Finish up our circle. And this one is being really weird. I don't want to use this head pin. He looks yucky. When I started moving him, he started doing some weird splicing. All right, we're going to try it again. Okay, all the way on the bottom one, we want to go all the way down to the head pin, 90 degrees. Then reposition that so there's 45. Your tool is 45 degrees in that one. Bring it around. Okay, now here, I'm gonna drop that. I don't know where it went to. It went in my lap. Okay, here we go. Oh boy, that was weird. So you see how there is a little bit of space in between here? That is where we're going to wrap this piece of wire around that space. And I'm trying to get it to be clear, okay? Hold on, I got to put my glasses up so I can see, because that's like a distance thing. So I'm just going to hold this with the tool to try to help explain it. So we have this piece here, and he needs to wrap around to close that up, that loop, in that space that we have available right there. So what I'm doing is I turn it sideways so that I can hold it with my hand, the tool in that circle part. And this is on the top, and I'm using this other plier. And I've seen people that can bend this with their fingers. Yep, we're filling in the void. And then I take this. So if you notice, my plier is here. This is the part that opens and closes. My piece of wire is on top. I'm grabbing this and I'm wrapping around that piece of wire, going underneath and around. So that then, I'm going to cut this. I might need to get a different plier because that one is not wanting to cut very well. So that we are I'm going to hold this here with the tool, creating that loop. Do you see that loop around there right here? That's what we just created. And now it's closed and it doesn't open. So this is just creating it so that it is a closed. Not everybody creates that loop around. Some people use their finger instead of the chain nose plier to bring it around. Some people, yeah, I prefer doing it with a tool. I get it tighter. That's why I prefer it. Some people will sit there and instead of doing it this way, I'm going to show you what some people do is they'll take a round nose plier where they want the loop and they will just bend this and just keep wrapping it around and have that style of a loop. So there's different ways that you guys can create these loops. This is just the style that I was taught and such. And I just like it better. To me, it looks better. All right, I'll show you how you connect. Okay, so we have this. We're going to create that loop once again. Okay, now you have that loop on top. You want to open it. Lift this up. Do you see how that's open now? All I did was I lifted it up a little bit. I will take my circle of this one, put it on that short piece here. I put my glasses up, so hold on. There we go. And now do you see how it's dangling in there? I take my plier and I close it up. Then you hold this on. I got to put my glasses back down, everybody. This is the fun of like having this style of glasses. And then just wrap that around once and then cut it off. And then they're joined together. We're going to make a loop. Again, at the top of the second part of the second piece or second bead of the chain. Wrap that around and cut that end off. Okay. Hi, Marisol. How are you doing? We're going to grab one more head pin. This is our last bead of this 3. Whoops, we don't want the cutters. I'm moving those over out of my way. I need my round nose. First one, 90 degrees. Second one, we're going to do a round. Hey, Melissa. We're creating that circle. We're going to open up that circle, add it to the second bead, put that in there, close it up, wrap this around. Oops. There we go. Cut it off. We're going to make one more earring, everybody. So we still have some more to show you so that the repetitive, hi Maria, will come to you. Wrap that. Whoops, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to cut that top of that head pin off. There we go. Head pin off, 90 degrees. Reposition my round nose pliers on that second one line at 45 degrees. Bring it around. Open it up. Just like we were going to add it to another bead, open it up. But this time, instead of adding it to that bead, we're adding it to our earring component. Put this in. And then close it up. Wrap this around. Cut off that excess piece of wire. There we go. Now we have our fringe part of the chandelier. Now to make it into an earring. One of the things with fishhook earrings and a lot of the earrings is that at one part of this loop will open. Each earring might be the inside or the outside. You have to figure that out by just gently pushing up to open up that bottom loop. Figure out how this is going to hold on the earring and put it on the right way. I don't always do that the right way. And then once I get it on there, I have to take it back and open it again and reposition it. hey, I got it. I'm going to take one of these off and show you. This is the second one, the second style. So this one here, the way we laid this one out, we went every other bead with 2 different colors across. This one is the same color bead across all 5 chains if it's all there. So you get a different look. Neither's right or wrong, but that's what you can do. Now we're going to still be on the live here. I know it's almost 2 o'clock, but we're going to do the second one. Where did I get this one? I ordered it off of the Zon when I started selling online so I could display earrings to sell them. That's literally where I got it. I'm going to take him off because we're going to make the second one to put on here. Thank you, Kimmy. All right. So once again, we have our chandelier earring. We have our fish hook. I'm going to lay out my beads in the 5 different way, or the 5 rows. So this one, I need 5 across the top. This row, I need 5 here. So that's row number 2. Row number 3 is this purple. There are 4 different shades of purple beads. Row number 4 only goes for the inner 3, and row 5 is the middle row. So the outside rows are 3. Second in is 4 each, and this one is 5. This part right here, is this what you're talking about, Cherie? Cherie's asking what the base of the earring is called. So I'm asking her if she meaning this piece. Yep, this is called a chandelier component. You can use these to make chandelier earrings or chandelier pendants, and you can do more than just do like the fringe earring that we have here. You could actually not make the earring so long and only do 1 bead here, 2 beads, 3 beads, 2 beads, 1 bead, and make shorter chandelier earrings. Sometimes you will see a little hoop in the middle here, and you can add in another bead, an accent bead here in the center. You can do chain across this and then put some beads in there, or, you know, do different things. You can also make it into something that you would use for a necklace. So there's lots of different things that you can do with these chandelier components. I will have these up for sale on Saturday. Hi, Rosie. So Saturday, you will have this component available. You will have some of these beads strands of the beads will be available. And you will also have the beads for this pair. And I will have kits for both of these earrings. I'm only going to do the 2 kits, one for each one of these earrings. And I'm not going to change up the beads. I'm probably only going to do 5 kits of each. So you have 5 kits of the blue and the pink, and then 5 kits of the purple. Okay. And then that'll probably leave me with 10 strands of the purple beads that you guys can do whatever you wanted with. I'm not going to have the head pins up for sale. The fishhook earrings we just recently had up for sale, so I'm probably not going to do that this week. I am planning for a different style of earring next week. So I may be bringing in other fishhook earrings next week. Okay. All right, I need to grab some more head pins for the second one. It takes 3, 6, 8, so 8, and that would be 14. It takes 38 beads, 38 head pins, 2 chandeliers, and 2 fish hooks earrings to make these earrings. Or if you wanted to do lever backs, you sure could. I am not sure what they are. It is not on my information that I have here. Let me go look it up and see if they are still available, and I can tell you that. Hold on. They are a 0.7 millimeter for the gauge. I cannot get any more of these. I have had these for years, everybody. I bought them in a bag of like 1,000 grams. So that would probably be about between 4,000 and 5,000 head pins in a bag. I bought my supplies in bulk when I was doing shows. I will tell you that. All right, we're going to start on our first one of the second earring. We're going to start our first chain. It has 3 beads. So the first one goes all the way to the bottom. Remember, I have 2 lines. I'm going to put them back on there so that you guys can see them a little bit better. Wrong Sharpie. I'm going to put that one away so I don't keep grabbing it. We're going to use the fine point instead of the ultra fine. We have 2 lines on there. The first line that we have on our tool is for the length between like the bead and where we want the head pin to start the wrap. The second line is to be consistent in how large our loops are. When you're new and starting this out, do not go to the end. You don't want to be all the way here either, because then you're going to have a really big circle. This one I'm going to have a little bit of extra room on, so let me show you. If we did it down here, I can't even get it all the way. I mean, you're going to have a pretty big one. And I didn't even get that all the way. So that's why you don't want to do towards the center unless you want a really big one. I don't. So we're going to bend there, come here, bring it around. Hold this with our hand or with our plier and wrap this around. As you guys know, I've told you guys, I've been making jewelry for 20 years now. I do my circle right now. Right here is where I make my loops for most of my earrings. So after a while, you will be able to do it with a smaller one than I'm doing right now. The second one, you're going to, hold on, I got to get a notification off my phone. There we go. You're going to push it on that first one, but we're going to leave our gap here. Leave that gap. And then go to the second line, put it 45 in there and bring it around. Open up your circle so that you can line that up on there. And then close that up. Wrap this around. One time. That just did not go in the garbage. It went someplace else. I'm going to move that. There, I found it. It was underneath the bag. I'm like, I could hear it hit a bag. Now we're going to go 45 or 90 degrees away with that first line. Second line is for our round loop. Hold that and complete that circle. This is our third one and the last bead of this chain. So go on that first line, 90 degrees away. Second line, do 45 degrees inside that, what we just did. Bring it around. Reposition your tool, open it up. Add it to our chain. Close it up. And do our loop around. Cut this off. cut off the head pin flat part. For there, 90 degrees on the first line, 45 degrees within that angle we just made with the tool. Bring it around till you can't do it anymore. Reposition so that the bottom that was down here is now on the top, and finish out that circle. Open up that circle, put it on the chandelier, close it up, wrap this around. Cut this off, and we have our first loop, or not our first loop, our first link on that chandelier. Okay, we're going to do our second one now. Remember, the first one on each of the chain goes all the way to the bottom. Whoop, I got to do the puzzle piece. Hold on. Whoop, I didn't do it right. This is hard to do at an angle, everybody. Didn't do it right again. Let's try it for the third time. Haha, I got it. Third time was the charm. Oh, that was hard at an angle. All right. We're going to be all the way to the bottom because this one is our first one. 90 degrees away. Put it in here. Bring it around. You leave this one shut because we don't have a link to add to it, and just wrap it around the one time and cut this off. Okay. All right, another head pin. Put the bead on it towards the top. Line up the line, the first one, 90 degrees. Move over to the second line and position the tool 45 degrees so that the top is like 45 degrees in there. Then bring that around. Oh, geez, I didn't know that, Rose. Holy buckets. Open that up. I got 3. I was thinking, dear Lord, if I don't get it on the third, is it going to shut us down? And then wrap that around. I was like sweating it there. And you guys are going to laugh because these glasses that I got, I have a hard time seeing a way like where you guys are at for, you know, out. I have to be like right here to be able to see with these glasses. So if I'm holding it up, it's hard for me to see. If I'm holding something over here or looking at the phone, it's harder for me to see. It is so odd. This is my first time doing it on a live with the glasses. But let me tell you, I can see so much better. It's amazing. I feel like I'm Buttercup right now. Buttercup, right, with her glasses, is so excited she can see everything clear. She'll just be walking around along and she's like, I can see now. And just like total randomness. And you're like, what? And then you're like, oh yeah, you got glasses. So, and you just keep repeating this process. If you guys need me to say it as I'm going through it to finish up this earring, please let me know. Oh, wow. Yeah, she's just like seeing things off in the distance and she's like, wow, that is really clear over there. And it's just like, okay. But the thing I remember when I got glasses is that when you walk into stores, your glasses are different in how you see the light. And I had a hard time walking into stores when I got my glasses. So I'm glad I don't have to wear them like into stores with different lighting. I only have to wear them when I am making jewelry. And the other night I was putting stickers on the bags for the black and white silicone beads. And I put it on for that. And it's just a little crisper. I could probably do that without it, but it just made it crisper and nicer. Yeah, so I don't have to wear them very often. This is our fourth one, so I need to cut that off and then create this and put it on our chandelier. Ooh, geez. I was going to say, they said at some point everybody needs cataract surgery. It's just part of life when I went to have my LASIK. So I know I will have it at some point. Oh, hello, Ray. I hope you're having a great work day. There we go. So there is number 2, where we got 4. Now we're going to do the 5 bead link chain. Oh, Lordy. That was wrong. We're going to put him up here because it's the same bead. It needs to go all the way down. See, I don't have that corporate world anymore. And I was watching a YouTube video today about something, and I was like, you know what? I am so grateful for what I have right now. So, hey, and it's Thankful Thursday. Maybe that's what, I haven't done my Thankful Thursday post yet. So maybe I'll do that after I get off. I am still, for those of you, I am still working on invoices for the last couple of lives. Sorry, it's taking me longer. I am noticing, just to let y'all know, I am double checking things on these that are going out today, because I think I figured out what the problem is within Shopify for invoice. So I use one system so that I can scan the barcodes to create your guys' invoices. But I can't send you an email from that system, so I have to go back a step. And the only way I can go back out of that is like to use the back arrow at the top of the menu bar. And it doesn't always have the correct subtotal. And if the subtotal is wrong, it deletes out what I just scanned. So I have to make sure I refresh before I send it. And I think I've missed it on a few of yours. So I'm just double checking invoices as I go. So if you see something that you're like, whoa, that was a jump, I apologize. And it's just my error that I didn't refresh and I didn't know I had to do it. So I learn new things with each update that they do to either that system that I do the scanning with or with the Shopify system. And I'm not trying to give anybody heart failures with the amount of their total their bills are. So just to let you know. There we go. Also, I want to ask you all, there are some frequently asked questions out on my website, but the frequently asked questions were more so done for when somebody would buy jewelry off of the website. Here, you guys are individuals that normally do not buy jewelry off my website. You guys will come in and do beads and that type of thing. Do you guys ever look at the FAQ part of the website? Okay. Are there things that you've seen or noticed that I need to change on it? We're looking at my website and making changes to words. And the one that is hard for both Val and I, Val has been with me doing the jewelry stuff, been at my in-person sales with me since I started making jewelry. They've been with me doing this for 20 years. They just turned 24 last week. So since they were 4 years old, I have been making jewelry. So it's very hard for them and for myself, for both of us, to be like, okay, yep, that's what I was just going to get to. Val and I are both wondering, what kind of questions would you like to see answers to on the FAQ? Because we are both like, we're so close to it, it's very difficult. So we're asking for your input on that. And if you want to take a look at it, whoops, I did that one wrong again. This is the bottom one. I have enough that this isn't a big deal. I can just do it down here. This is the bottom one, so I need to be down here. Yep. And I'm not saying it to be conceited at all. I'm saying it because, you know, it's been my life for 20 years. And it's just like, you know, I'm grateful that Val and I are talking about what she is seeing and hearing me say on the lives so that I can slow down and explain things to you guys more. And I hope today, because one of the things that I've heard from you a lot is that this is too confusing. Well, did my slowing down and explaining each step and showing you each step, especially when you ask to see it again, does that help you out? And is that how you're going to learn? We all learn differently. Some people learn from watching, some people learn from hearing, and some people learn from writing it down. Yes, I do, and I am updating that also. Yeah. You got it there, Lori. And we are looking at right now, um, we are reviewing the about us. We are reviewing the mission statement. There were 4 of them that I looked at last night. And that's why part of the invoices are not going out as quickly as that I am spending some time updating the website. So this is where being in business, you have fine lines of doing your time between all the different things. And the website, I haven't looked at it in 4 years. I launched it in June of 2021, and I haven't touched a lot of it since then. Yep, and that's the thing. I would like you guys to ask questions. Lori, you got a good one. She has in here, I've been taught my whole life that it's okay to ask questions. Others others tend to, are shy away from it. And that's just, yeah. And I would love for you guys to ask the questions and not shy away from it, because that will give us a better understanding of what we're doing. Okay, where do I do my sales? Okay, so like when I do my TikTok sales, when I do my lives, can you write that one down, Val, for me? Please, and thank you. Awesome to hear, Kelly. I appreciate hearing that. You would not believe how much I love hearing that. All right, this is the last one, and I forgot to cut the top off, so we got to do that here quick. Open it up, and we'll put it on the earring. Val is actually going back through some of our chats to get some things. So if she hears it, a question, she's writing it down. We are also looking at creating playlists for YouTube so that there are different things that you guys will be able to find easier for like techniques and that type of thing. So we're working on revamping a few things between the website and YouTube is where we're starting at first. You can, I just don't know that I want to put my site into AI. Because in the back end room, it has your guys' personal information of your mailing address. And I don't want AI to have that. I will tell you what I do with AI for my website is I am copying out sections of the wording and putting that into AI, reviewing if I even like it, updating it, and that type of thing. So I do not want to put all of it out there and do a scrub of the whole thing. I will do a section because I want to keep your information private. Okay. So there, that's what I did last night, and we updated some things because since 2021, my business has changed trajectory. My mission statement has changed. All of that has really changed. And so I needed that all updated. So I put what I wanted in there, and then it gave me suggestions, and I then rewrote what I wanted. It's great for suggestions, but it only goes so far. Val, as you can tell, does not like just doesn't trust AI, and that's fine to not trust AI. All right, we're on the last one for this one. Sorry I didn't give you I'm going to say a play-by-play of each things. Yes, I do. I do sell my jewelry from my website. I do not sell the beads. I'll explain why here in just a second because I want to get this last one done. And sometimes I can't do this and talk at the same time. There we go. See, it goes better when I don't talk at the same time that I'm trying to put it on. I cannot take pictures of beads, and I am extremely picky about how my picture of beads looked, and I didn't like it. I have no other words to say it than that. And so that is why I never sold my beads from the website. I am looking into, do I want to change that for the future? I don't know. Okay, to open this up, I'm going to show you guys once again. You take, and this one I know is on the inside. If you don't know, what I would suggest to do is just gently move it and see if one side moves over the other. You will feel if it moves or not. Once you know which side has the movement part, open this up. This will be the front side of the earring. This is the front side of our chandelier. So we want the front to the front. So you put it on to the front with the way this one opens, the front to the front. So that you put that on like that. And I'm going to put you guys up now. You guys are going to see me in my glasses now. Yes, these are the new glasses, everybody. This is what they look like. This is our pair of earrings. I can't see without with them on up here. So this is what these are going to look like for a Fringe of Elegance chandelier earring. We are using a 6x4mm size bead that is a faceted rondelle. So that's going to give us that bling that you're seeing. Now, if you wanted this to be shorter parts of the metal between the links, once you learn this, you could move down to here and you're going to have less. The closer you get to the tip of your pliers, the smaller your portion is around that wraps around, and also for your circle for your loop. Thank you, Craft 167. So I'm going to bring those up close so you can see what I'm talking about there. But it's still not a bad link at that. So that is what our tutorial was about today. These are 6x4mm faceted rondelles. This one here, I'm going to show you these. The other pair that I made, these are 4mm faceted rounds, I believe is what these were. So when you want an earring to sparkle, use faceted glass. And oh, I just threw them down on here. That's all I did. I have my case to put them in. And it's funny because I feel like this is the elderly eyeglass case, because you go like, dirt. My grandparents had it for their readers. It wasn't like the hinged one. I feel like I have the reader thing going on, but I don't. I don't need them to read. But so you can see, I'm going to put one of each on here so you can see the difference between the sizes. And so with the bigger bead, they're just a little bit longer, but using that is really how you're going to get that sparkle using the faceted glass. The more facets that you have on your glass beads, or even on your gemstone or the natural beads, that's how you get a shine from your beads more often than not. You get more texture, more shine. Oh, thank you, Moon Clusters. This one is a 4mm round. This one is a 6x4mm rondelle. And Moon Clusters, I do have a YouTube channel where I have saved all of my tutorials. It is also CarolJo's LLC. You can go to my profile, hit touch the lemon 8 line, and then down below the box that says tree, and there's a list that comes up. The bottom one is the YouTube, and it'll take you directly there, and you can subscribe to me on YouTube. So yeah, so I just wanted to show you guys how changing out a bead gives it just a little bit different look. It's nothing majorly different, just a different one. You can even do, if you wanted a boho effect to do this, use like natural colored beads. Use beads that aren't faceted so they don't get that color or the sparkle to it, and you can create a boho effect. That was what I was going to do, but when I saw these, I was like, nope, I'm doing these. And you can do it with 5 different color beads if you want. You could do it with 3, type thing, or 2. You can do it with however many beads, and you can change up how long your facets or your fringe is. If like right now, if I were to wear this one, this is how long this one is going to be. I don't wear dangly earrings, so I'm not gonna put those in. But if you really want them to come down, you just add more chain to, or more links to them, and make it more longer. And you can see that one with my hair color. I wonder what this one would look like with my hair color. Hold on. Ooh, that one, see, when you have the lighter color with the dark hair, you will see that color. If you do have blonde hair, use darker colored beads. And that will help. Whoop, he doesn't want to stay on there. There we go. So that's how you make those. I hope you guys, I know this one went a little bit longer. It is an hour and a half, and I try to keep them to an hour when they're over the lunch hour. But I think this was just one that was a really cool thing. And this is the natural color, everybody. Thank you, Nina, for the heart me. So really, truly, you need 3 tools, head pins, beads, the chandeliers, and the earrings to make those. And just takes time and patience. That's what I'm going to say, time and patience. But I will make both pairs of these earrings. I put them both on top of each other here. I'll make both pairs of these earrings into kits, and I'll do like 5 kits of each one. I will have the beads for both earrings available on Saturday, and I'm going to have the chandeliers available on Saturday. So just to let y'all know, that's what we've got. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I think they're stunning. Thank you, TC, for the follow. And if anybody else followed while I was pointed down, or if anybody subscribed from YouTube while we were down, I can't always see that, but I want to say thank you. What I'm trying to do is just grow our community so that we can share our love and passion for making jewelry. I will not be on live tonight. I am going to a baseball game for one of our kids. It is a fan appreciation night, so we want to be there and cheer him on and the team and have all the fans there. It'll be a fun night. So I will be back tomorrow at 12 o'clock noon Central Time. We will be doing the charm sale. We will have the adjustable bangles available, and we will have different charms available. Normally, like I said, I try to keep this one to an hour. Charm show we normally do on Saturdays, and it's usually 2 to 4 hours. It's just however long we are all here and engaged and how long I have available. So we will go more than an hour tomorrow, just to let you know. And so you can come in and pop out with that one. It's just a fun where we sell all the charms that you can add to jewelry. They are more times than not the silver pewter type looking ones, but every once in a while we will have the gold and the antique bronze in there available too. We will have that, and the charms are all 35 cents a piece. And we just go through. We don't do 2 rounds of charm sale. We just go through whatever we went through for that day. And then Saturday will be our bead sale. We will have some of the items that I talked about here. And then for our necklaces that we made on Monday, I'm going to grab them here. One of these even has one of the charms that we're going to have up for sale tomorrow. So like this charm here, this pumpkin charm, will be up for sale tomorrow. So we're going to make a few kits of these. I don't know how many I'm going to get made for Saturday for these kits, but we will have, this is the same color beads that we just did with that chandelier earring. We will have these blue beads, and the black beads will be up for sale, not the orange. The orange came from my personal collection. So we'll have those beads up for sale. Oh, you're welcome, Deborah. So that is what we have for this week. Thank you, Stacy. I appreciate that. So that is what we have on deck for the rest of our week. I won't be live tonight or tomorrow night, which is not my norm. I usually go live and sell beads every Friday night, everybody. But it's my mother-in-law's birthday. And so we have a big game tonight, mother-in-law's birthday tomorrow. So we're going to do family stuff. All right. I hope you guys have a good afternoon and have a great rest of your evening too. And we'll see you tomorrow at 12 o'clock for the charm sale. Bye, everybody.